Welcome back to Asinine Radio, a weekly podcast where we talk about music, and, well, that's pretty much it. So, let's go!
This is Asinine Radio. This is the weekly music podcast where every week we get into whatever band
I know in life.
whatever band or artist we're doing, and we listen to all the records and we rank them from worst to best, and we also give our biggest banger from each of them. But before we do that, we get into our 6 degrees of Tom DeLonge. If you don't know what that is, that's where we connect the album of the week or the artist of the week to Tom DeLonge in 6 degrees or less. While you're listening, go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and give us 5 stars in there. Don't give us 1 star. Don't be a douchebag. Don't be that guy.
Don't be a Bocephus.
Don't be a Bocephus and give us a 1 star, you douchebag. Yeah, and while you're also listening, follow us on all the social medias at Asinine Radio. Super easy to remember and type in. So go do it, you lazy asses. And, we have a Discord server. If you want to join that, hit us up. We'll send you the link. And we have a phone number you can call, leave us a voicemail, shoot us a text. People do it sometimes. And that phone number is 503-893-5307. Now, Jeff. Oh, if you don't know, my name is Tyler. And way out there, hundreds of miles away, is Jeff. So, yeah, let's jump right into the 6 degrees with Tom DeLonge. Unfortunately, I don't have anything. I'm negligent this week. Oh, wow. So what do you got?
So I wanted to do just like the lesser of the bandmates. Doing Wayne Kramer would have just boring. So I started with the drummer.
Okay.
Drummer Dennis Thompson. He was in a band called The New Order with Stooges guitarist Ron Ashton. Ron Ashton played on Stooges albums, obviously, including their 4th album from 2007, which is kind of weird. Did not know that. With member Mike Watt. That was a new guy that joined for that album. Mike Watt also played with Juliana Hatfield. Juliana Hatfield has played on album with Mikey Welsh on various occasions from Weezer. Mikey played with Pat Wilson. Also did a couple stints in Special Goodness. But Pat Wilson's guitarist for Special Goodness was Adam Willard on multiple occasions. Adam Willard knows Tom or did something with Tom. I don't remember, but they've interacted in various capacities.
Yes. That is correct. That's a good one. I like that. I like that one a lot.
Yeah. So I was trying to do another one, but then it went off the rails because I don't know. I was in this whole like art trading underground thing that it led to, and I can't even fucking find what it was. So I was trying to do the bass player, and the bass player had ties to this other band called Destroy All Monsters. And then then like the singer of Destroy All Monsters was this girl by the name of Lynn Rovner, but her stage name, her share name is Niagara, like Niagara Falls.
Okay. And
she did a lot of like impressionist paintings and stuff, and I don't know a dick about paintings, absolutely nothing. And so then I was kind of just thinking like, okay, like let's see some of her paintings, and then she's tied to this guy named Roy Lichtenstein.
Ooh, cool name.
Yeah, like the country.
Yeah.
Right. And I've never heard of him, but he did this painting or this thing, and now I can't even fucking find it. But I can't remember what it was. I think it's just called like Girl. It's just called something so basic, something so stupid, but it's one of like the biggest or the most expensive paintings ever sold. Shit. And then that led me down the path of, okay, what are the most expensive paintings ever sold, right? Because that's where you have to know. Like, I have to know. And so, like, the most expensive paintings ever sold was just recently. And it was some Leonardo da Vinci painting I've never seen, but it was bought by some Saudi Arabian guy, and people think that he bought it for his friend, who's some, like, tycoon that I think people don't like. And then now, so it sold for $450 million.
God
right?
damn.
2017. It's over $400.5 billion for a fucking painting. This sold for.
Jesus.
And now the painting, nobody knows where it is. It was supposed to be on display at like the Louvre in Saudi Arabia or the Louvre in Dubai or somewhere, and it just never showed up. And they're like, "So where's the painting?" He's like, "Oh, I'm keeping it for myself. I don't know." So like the painting is like missing. It's just gone, which is so fucking weird. And there's all these conspiracies about like where this painting actually is. And it's a really cool rabbit hole to go down because it's so dumb and it's so stupid. But if you look at like the top 15, top 20 paintings, most expensive paintings ever sold, half of them are just like naked women on beds, like Titanic style, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, there's dude, like we're talking over 100, 200 million for these paintings. And I could not, I can't even fucking believe it. I cannot believe
it's insanity.
That kind of money is spent on colors. So I don't know. I spent a solid like hour just looking into a lot of these things.
Maybe Mr. Bean got a hold of that painting. That's why it's never been seen again. Fucking love that scene. That fucking movie is so funny when he sharpies the face back on the Mona Lisa and it looks like total shit. Total shit. Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
You know what's crazy is the majority of these top cells. Okay, so like there's this one place called Christie's, New York. But I think it's just an like auction house which is based out of England. But most of them that are not private party are sold through this Christie's auction house. So I think that's kind of weird for one. And then like the vast majority of these paintings are private sales, which I also think is very bizarre. Like, I don't know. That's just a lot of money just to be like, you got it? Yeah, I got it. All right, cool. Here you go. Pull like $300 million out of your pocket and give it to some guy. Oh, thanks a lot. Have a good day. Like an offer up exchange. Like you're on Craigslist. Yeah. It's bizarre.
Insane
it's
how
weird.
much money is just thrown around like that. It's disgusting, honestly. It's gross.
The most expensive painting is a Da Vinci painting and it's from like the 1500s.
Yeah.
I just think like how much money.
Do you remember what it was called?
It was called Salvator Mundi. Salvator Mundi, and it looks, from what I remember, it looks just like Jesus. And he has like his hand up as if he's like holding two fingers in the air, like he's telling you to be quiet, like shh.
Oh, okay. I've seen this picture. Yeah.
I've never seen this before, but
I've seen this in variations of this painting.
It makes me think like, the job to get is like authenticating these pictures, because if some guy's paying $450 million for this, that means he's going to be paying the guy to like authenticate it, probably like $1 million.
Oh, at least.
Like if you got that kind of money to throw around, so that's what you should be getting into. Everybody out there looking for your TikTok fame, you should be getting to authenticating high-priced paintings.
Fucking shit.
Because you only got to do it once, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Really?
You're right. Wow.
Oh, and then one of the other top ones too that sold for like $300 million in a private sale was fucking David Geffen. He sold to some hedge fund guy for $200, $300, $400 million. How the fuck did he get it?
That. Yeah, I don't like it. Think about how much money David Geffen has gotten just through the music industry. It's a lot of guacamole right there.
It's fucking disgusting that people are paying $400 million for paintings. I can't imagine Leonardo da Vinci being proud of that fact.
No, not at all. What do we know? I mean, I haven't talked to Leonardo in a long time, but I don't think he'd be stoked about it.
I've talked to all of them. I talked to Leonardo, Donatello, Michelangelo,
Raph?
Casey Jones.
Talk to Raph too?
I don't talk to Raph. He's a hothead. So yeah, that's all I got for my 6 degrees.
Dumb conversation. Dumb way to end the conversation, I should say. Mm-hmm. Okay, so then let's. Like I said, I don't have anything for my 6 degrees. I'm negligent this week. Be negligent. So let's jump right into our rankings. So if you don't know, we're doing MC5, and MC5 have 3 records. One of them being a live record, but it's still considered, their first album. And so we're doing that, the live one, Kick Out the Jams, as well as their other 2 records because they were a very short-lived band. So let's jump into number 3. What do you got? And your biggest banger?
Oh, you didn't say go, so I didn't know what to do. Okay, there we go. Yep. So High Time. I mean, these rankings, like, it's going to be so hard to argue. Like, you can't believe you put this here because there's just fucking 3 of them. Really, there's 2 of them. So High Time, it's their last album. I mean, it's fine. But honestly, this is just another drop in the 70s hard rock bucket. By this time, Grand Funk had already dropped 4 solid albums, an incredible live album. MC5 just went the forgettable route and did this sound. And it's not bad. I think it's really, really good. It's just not what I'm looking for when I listen to MC5. And this is... but they only have 2 albums, and they both are just wildly appraised? Praised? You don't
wildly praised.
They're not appraised. They're not paintings, right?
Yeah, they're not a Leonardo da Vinci painting. No.
Yeah, they're not Leonardo da Vinci Mundi paintings. So it's wildly praised and given phenomenal scores. But honestly, like I'd do like 1.5. Like I'm never gonna go back to this. Yeah, I'm never gonna go back to it. I probably would not buy it on the vinyls unless it was like dirt cheap. But even then, I probably still wouldn't do it. I don't really have a banger. I didn't hate it, but it wasn't like the most exciting time.
It's fair. I understand. All right. So then my number 3 is also High Time. 3rd record from 1972. Final record before they split. I think less than a year after this record came out. And they were honestly at a low point, which I'm sure we'll get into. I mean, there's quite a bit to get into with MC5, and because they were such a short-lived band, we're probably going to be talking about their entire career. But yeah, High Time. It's definitely not a bad record whatsoever, but it is slower. It is more hard rock, blues rock is the best way to put it, like you said. I will say though, some of the songs are, I wouldn't say proggy, but kind of jammy at moments, which is cool. Like you could kind of tell they were trying to change up their style, but yeah, Grand Funk did do it better, and kind of surprising, you know. I didn't really see anywhere where they ever played with Grand Funk, and they're both from Detroit.
I know, so
it's kind of strange, but maybe it was because their political views clashed so much. I don't know, but Anyway, High Time. I think it's a solid record. My favorite song is Skunk. Sonically speaking, it's straight up.
Is that the last
a jazz song? What's up?
Is that the last song? The instrumental?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The jazz one with just a ton of electric guitar. It's almost like, I don't want to like compare it to Mahavishnu because it's not like that, but it's the incorporation of the electric guitar with the jazz elements, but not being like cheesy jazz fusion. It's just good. It was a really, really good song, and it was they based a lot of it off of Sun Ra. So we'll get more into Sun Ra in the main episode because there's one song on there on Kick Out the Jams that lifts stuff from Sun Ra. So yeah, that's my number 3. High Time, 3rd record. What do you got for number 2? Go.
Back in the USA, their first, I guess, studio album, 1970. This was good. This was really good. I like this a lot. I mean, it wasn't as aggressive and as punchy as their live album, but this still had remnants of like the raucousness from their first, with just more fleshed out songs. Their producer wasn't like a punk guy, but nobody was a punk guy at this time. He was a guy that liked old school rock and roll, that liked Americana, and some of these songs were slower on this, but they ended up being some of my favorite ones. But God, dude, the rock and roll covers. Did not
really
like
good.
them. Did not like them at all. Not
really?
at all. I think they were fucking dumb. I thought it was pandering. I thought it was fucking pathetic. I thought, why did you even do that? So like essentially the record is sandwiched between 2 rock and roll covers. There's a Chuck Berry and then a Tutti Frutti Little Richard.
Yeah.
Did not like them. I didn't think they were necessary. I thought that they were pandering. I thought it was pathetic. I thought like, wow, you think I'm an idiot, and I did not like them. Did not like them.
Okay, that's fine.
But I do have a banger, and I would even buy this on the vinyls, even if it was like $20-$25. Like if it was like an older pressing, I'd still buy this, even though I dislike those two songs, because everything else on here was that fucking good. And Let Me Try, that was my biggest banger. It was like the slowest song on the album, and I guess it would be their ballad. But man, that guitar tone was unreal. It's light, it's airy, it matches his vocals perfectly, it matches the songs perfectly. The melody is just, it's top notch. And the song is very slow, but it has like a good swing to it. It's got a good bounce to it. You can follow along super easy. It's like a pop song, but it's still got some heavy parts to it. And I thought this album was pretty damn good. Considering how good, I mean, obviously their live album is my number one, but considering just how iconic, how great that live album is, how great this band is, I don't think they knew. I mean, obviously, the hindsight's 2020, so they had no idea the legacy of their first album would be. And so this is a band that had not blown up in the history books, and so they hire a guy that wants to produce a rock and roll album, and like he does, he produces a rock and roll album, not just with the rock and roll covers, but like the way these songs are made are more kind of for the masses. Like even the slower ballady songs are very, very like "Oh Donna" by Richie Valens are very, very in that same vein. They're very basic, but MC5 still kind of come through with their rowdiness, and I dig.
I do too. My number two is also Back in the USA. Their first studio album, second album overall, and I think this is. I actually had this CD growing up. I had Kick Out the Jams and I had Back in the USA. So I've always known about this record. I've always dug the record, but I just never thought it was as good as the first record. And there's some solid stuff. I like the covers. Obviously they're not as good as the originals because that's just silly boy talk if you think that. But they're still cool. They're still fun. I mean, Tutti Frutti, how can you not love that song? Even the way they did it, it was still a rocking good time.
That's the worst of the two, too.
No, it's not. Get the fuck out of here.
Fucking can't stand that.
Fuck out of here.
So annoying. I would skip that track if I bought this on the vinyls. I would.
You're
honestly.
Stupid. That's dumb. That's dumb. That's so dumb. You're dumb.
I put a piece of tape. That way I would skip it every time.
But yeah, Back in the USA, like you said, they got a producer who eventually worked with Bruce Springsteen and helped bring him up, and his name was John Landau. I think that was his name. Yeah. And like you said, he was mostly into 50s rock and roll, rockabilly and stuff. And really this entire record has a lot of 50s rock and roll. And I know the band were highly influenced by that, like energetic rock and roll and stuff. So it makes sense to bring in somebody like that. But the production of it was obviously much more polished than they've ever did live. But it's good. I like this record a lot. I would for sure get it on the vinyls. And my favorite song, Looking at You. Dude, the fucking guitar playing in the song is the best guitar playing Wayne Kramer and Smith do. And this, out of all their songs, this is the best guitar song by them. It's fucking awesome. I love that song. And this song, I think, predates the Kick Out the Jams record. I think this is like one of the first songs they ever recorded, like live. They recorded it live, I think, or maybe a demo. But this is the first time it was actually officially recorded. So there you go. My number two is Back in the USA, Back in the USSR.
Back in the USA.
That Beatles song sucks.
Man,
I'm not gonna hate that song.
That album's stupid too. That overrated trash.
Yeah, that album sucks. Yeah, you're right.
I think we both rated the White Album like their bottom tier Beatle albums.
Oh, it was my least favorite by far. Yeah, that album sucks.
Dumb.
That and Let It Be, fucking terrible records. Anyway, let's see. So yeah, that's all I got. Kick Out the Jams obviously is our number one. So stay tuned for that because we're gonna be taking a deep dive into this record, the band, and all that good stuff on the main episode. So go listen to that. Thank you all for listening. Go give us 5 stars and only 5 stars. So that's it. That's all.
Back in the USA.
Paul McCartney.